right, guys, welcome again to another episode of Creators Corner, where we explore the creative aspect, creative journey, creative input, creative everything. And today we have a special guest, one and only Big Bad DJ, NYC, Mr. Khalil.
What's up, guys?
How you feeling, bro?
Glad to have you. Thanks, I'm here.
No problem, no problem. A bit, I wanted to have you for the longest, but we lost your. We can't say that. Yeah, we had Khalil before, but due to circumstances, um, it's footage. Yeah,
But we here. That's
we
all.
here.
2025, we here.
We here. How do you feel, bro? How you feel so far?
I feel really good, man.
Okay.
I do feel really good. I can genuinely say that.
Okay.
So,
So for who didn't know Khalil, explain to the people who's Khalil.
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn, New York. Grew up loving music. Grew up loving culture, and I grew up in a rich culture. And I just, always loved music, creative expression. Was always the entertainer, fun, popular kind of kid. And yeah, that's what I'd like to do. I like to bring joy to people's lives and make people feel good any way I can.
So wait, what's your background?
Um, I was born in Brooklyn, like I said. My family comes from Panama and Jamaica. We also got a little small uh Bayesian.
Asian.
Yeah.
Grandma.
No, my grandfather has like a grandparent that's Bayesian or a parent that's Bayesian,
Okay.
I believe. But we don't know anything about
Okay.
the cuckoo and flyfish people, so
I'm crying. Yo, anyways. Okay, so you said you grew up in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
and so you were inspired heavily by Caribbean culture from what sense? From like what age or what made you?
um I can't just say Caribbean culture, but I mean, yes, it was a big influence on me because, like I said, I come from a Caribbean family. Not only just me being from a Caribbean family, but where I come from in Brooklyn is a Caribbean area of Brooklyn.
Where's this?
I grew up in East Flatbush, so
okay.
35th and Beverly. Um, my church, I spent a lot of time growing up at church too as a kid. It was right there in East Flatbush. And for those that don't know about East Flatbush is what they now call Little Caribbean. I'm talking people in the street cutting sugar cane, coconut, making corn soup in the street, roasting breadfruit, all that type of stuff. And as a kid, I would see people with the big speakers in the street. I remember my mom bringing me home from school, and she was coming from summer camp, daycare that she taught, and I remember seeing like Beanie Man.
Sabi, man.
Yeah, I think they were shooting the Gal Lemon Sugar video.
Oh,
Maya,
wow.
they shot that on Flatbush in church.
Flatbush?
They shot it on Flatbush in church.
Oh, nice.
So my uncles were DJs. I watched them.
Oh, that's
DJ
what
this
you
big
learned from your uncle, or you were more self-taught?
Um, my uncles didn't teach me to DJ. They didn't like. Well, okay. My uncles were one of them DJ at Biltmore Ballroom, which is like a famous place for like reggae dancehall stuff. Like anytime an artist would come to America from Jamaica, in that time period, they would come there.
It's like the old school Amazura.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like one of those places. So like if you look up like Capleton's first show, Buju Banton, Beanie Man, all these guys, Shaba, Supercat, they all was at Biltmore, like any artist you could think of back then. So that's like where it kind of the DJing I saw. My dad told me later on in life that he DJ'd before I was born. So my dad also like collected and kept a lot of music, mostly dancehall, reggae, hip hop, R&B too, kind of, yeah. But and then my mother is really big on more like reggae and like rockers kind of stuff, soca too, but reggae, rockers, that type of thing. Gospel, of course. I said like I go to church a lot as a kid, so gospel. But yeah.
So basically, being around your parents and the Caribbean influence within the community that you're from, that kind of led you in the path of what wanted to be a DJ. At what point would you say that Khalil wanted to be a DJ at this point? Like, At what point in your journey?
Me becoming a DJ.
Or that wasn't a thing for you?
Yeah, that was a thought. Like, okay, so it's like spurts and moments of different things that I went through, because like I always liked. Like I remember one of my earliest thoughts ever in my life. Like I remember being in the supermarket with my mother when I was like 3, 4 years old. That's like one of my earliest memories. I remember saying in my head like, if I ever do music, I'm gonna go by my middle name Khalil, because Khalil's my middle name.
Is your middle name?
Yeah, I'm not telling the camera my first name, but those that know me know my first name.
I don't know your first name.
You know my first name. Stop it. But yeah, I said, I was definitely gonna go by my middle name Khalil if I ever do music. And looking back, it's like I was like 4, 3 years old, and I remember saying that to myself. So it's like I know that I was like destined to be doing this. It was in me from then. Like I grew up in choir. I was always in choir. I was heavily involved in choir and stuff. I was always singing as a kid. So
because Caribbean parents are heavy, like the church is a big thing for Caribbean parents.
I think black people
Black people in general.
Yeah, I think black people in general. I don't think it's just Caribbean, because as I've become a DJ, I've made a lot of friends with people of all kind of backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of friends that are West African, and a lot of them are also like similar, very church heavily based background, and Black Americans too. They were heavily in church too. So
Okay, cool. So you said your uncles were DJ. Did they ever brought you like to parties and stuff like that? Like, at what point did you start? What age did you start spinning like actual DJ?
My uncles never brought me to parties because I was too young to go to those parties. But like, I definitely would see them like with the turntables and stuff in the house DJing, and I would see like family parties and watch like uncles and cousins DJ and stuff. And then, like I said, I would see the sounds from from back in the day. I would see them like set up the big speakers in the street, and they would play in the street and stuff like that. I started to try.
Flatbush?
Yeah, it's in Flatbush. Also, like even when I would go back to Panama a lot, I didn't go that much as a kid, but a couple of times I did go, I would see stuff too. Like I remember my uncle snuck me out the house.
Oh, nice.
One day, and I saw Elephant Man, Capleton, and Bogle. Yeah, they performed live in Panama. There's actually footage of the concert, and you can see my uncle throw me in the air.
On YouTube?
Yeah, he threw me in the air. It's on YouTube. I'll show you. But
that's pretty dope. So you said your uncle's Panamanian.
They're Panamanian Jamaican.
Panamanian Jamaican.
Yeah,
Okay.
their father's Jamaican.
So what age did you actually DJ then?
Me starting to DJ came in at about, cause I was collecting music for so long, and then I took all the music. So one day my brother was on the computer, and he was playing like a Justin Timberlake song, and I hear him like mashing up the beat or something like that. I'm like, how are you doing that? And he was like, it's a program on the computer. I was like, what is that called? He's like, virtual DJ. And I was like, nah, like, show me how you do that. And he's like, learn it. He said, download it. And I was like, fuck, you talking like I can't learn how to do some shit? So I downloaded it. And I remember I downloaded it, and at first I wasn't getting it, so I was like, But then I would be bored and just go on in, and then after a while, it got hooked.
Already.
I was hooked.
Was that cute? He kept cueing it back.
I was just hooked to just play DJing on the computer. Or I thought I was DJing, but
so you were you a lover of music from initially. I'm assuming.
Yeah, like but even so before I started doing that, I was already like, excuse me. Before I was doing that, I was already like from like 11, 12, because growing up we didn't have internet in my house, so I would like go in the garage and steal my dad's like CDs, and then burn them to my computer, and then try to put them back exactly where I got them, because they didn't want me listening to the music. So I would steal the CDs, burn it, so I could sit down and listen to the music in my spare time. And I had like, by the time I was 13, 14, I already had like thousands of songs on that computer that I just stole from, that I just burned off from his tapes. Then we finally got internet, and I got LimeWire.
Wow, that was an era.
When I had LimeWire, it was over. I had any and every song by Lil Wayne and Vybz Kartel you could think of on there.
You were heavy influence of Vybz Kartel.
Lil Wayne and Vybz Kartel was like what I listened to. But I mean, also just like, I'm from Brooklyn, so like I was heavily also influenced by hip hop. I would honestly say, like, my first love musically was hip hop. That's my first love.
Okay.
And but then like that around that time is when I started DJing on the computer, virtual DJ, and then my uncles showed me a couple of ropes, like the techniques of everything. Like they would tell me like, oh, here's stuff I was doing, like do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. You got to go from this year to this year, and matching BPMs and all that stuff. And then once I got the ropes of that, is when I started to take it more seriously. But
What age was this?
so wait, this is at this point it's a hobby. I wasn't doing it seriously. It was like a hobby. Me and my friends that I grew up with, we would throw backyard parties in the 40s, East Flatbush area. We were just throwing like backyard parties and stuff, and we had a lot of people coming out.
High school?
This is like ending of high school, beginning of college. Yeah, we was doing that. I would go out a lot. He's not my blood uncle, but I call him my uncle. He would take us to CPAC. Sometimes we'd help him sell the jerk chicken, and I would see any artist you could think, Movado, at CPAC. Yeah, CPAC. Anybody that like is from Brooklyn at that time knows about CPAC. So be there and I see all these artists and all these sound. And that's where I really at that time is when I'm learning to really DJ, and I'm also like going out. So that's when my network we started throwing parties. I had a girlfriend at the time though, so like I wasn't like going in my head at that time I wasn't like I'm about to be a DJ. I was just doing it, you know what I mean?
For fun.
Yeah. 2014 is when I think that was like a transformative year for me, because that's when I think like a lot of things just changed for me in life, and I started to really find myself.
Why?
I started to do things that I wanted to do. Why?
Or not why, but just like what you think caused that?
I mean, well, yeah, I know what the answer is. Like, well, me and my girlfriend at the time, we had broken up. We was together for like 4 years. So
Sorry about that.
Nigga, I don't care. That was so long ago. That was 2014. Like, I was so young then.
Sorry, bro. You had heartbroken so early.
I don't think I was even really not like. She's a great person. Like, she's a great person.
Nah, you took too long to answer that.
No, she's a great. Shut up. She's a great person. I don't think I was really heartbroken because like it was one of them things where like I knew like it wasn't for us anymore. Like we just outgrew each other. You know what I mean? Like,
kind of saw it coming in a sense.
I wouldn't say I saw it coming, but I knew that we outgrew each other. Like the person that I was in the beginning of our relationship was not who I was when it was ending, and the same for her. And it's because we were so young, we were just growing into ourselves.
And so that was you trying to find yourself.
I was finding myself, she was finding herself, and it just wasn't. You know what I mean? And there's no beef.
There's no beef. Okay.
Yeah, there's no beef for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an understanding person.
That's respectable.
Yeah. So
I'm glad you chose that. So mom and dad were they okay?
With me DJing?
Yeah.
So, okay, so before I was DJing professionally, because I knew how to DJ at this point, before I was doing it professionally, I was making music. I used to sing, yeah. And rap. I used to sing and rap.
Like R&B?
And rap. I was just singing rap. Like,
okay.
So,
How was that?
It was actually going for me. Like, I performed a lot.
You performed?
I was performing a lot. I had a little band. Yeah, I had a band with me and everything.
This is high school, right?
No, this is 2014. This is like early college.
So these are on SoundCloud.
Yeah, SoundCloud time. Yeah.
Okay.
And like my music would have like 20,000 plays, 25,000 plays, 30,000. Yeah, I performed a lot of stuff. Like I was performing a lot. I wrote all my material myself.
So this is where the fan base started from, in a sense.
So I came with the name Khalil, and that's as a musician, as an artist, and that's where my fan base was built and my network was built. And it's funny how things happen in life, because I just remember like, I just know for a fact that when you're destined to do something, God will like literally put everything in your path to make that happen for your calling. Because at that time I used to work at Forever 21 and I hated that job.
Is it retail?
Yeah, retail. I worked at a retail job, Forever 21 on Union Square.
How long?
But I worked at Forever 21 Union Square. I would say I worked there 2 or 3 years. I was there. But it's funny, like God will place you in places.
You
find yourself, and also where you don't even expect opportunity to come from for the next step of your life. Because it was Forever 21 on Union Square. And this is 2014, 2015, around that time. This is when like the creative, like this is when like that like creative resurrection or whatever renaissance in New York City was happening, like especially in that area, like Soho, Williamsburg, that type of scene. Like that's where it was happening. Like the art, yeah. So Like I was meeting a lot of people that would just come into the store, and I was always like a friendly,
Yeah,
outgoing person.
You're very open and
So I would just talk to people, and they would put me as the greeter because I just know how to talk to people. Or I would just talk to people in the sales floor. And I met a lot of people just by people would come to the store just say what up to me. Like these are people that are like big time models, agents. They run an agency. They're musicians themselves, but they're established creative people. And they would come and just talk to me sometimes just because they knew I was working there. And I made a lot of connections in the creative scene by just working there. Then I quit. I couldn't take it no more. I quit, and I had money. I had money saved up. And I quit. Then I went to work at Urban Outfitters, not too far from there. My creative network expanded even more by the people that was working there, and then like also like people that I met on the sales floor. And I was still making music, and I made two people that I worked with there. I'm really good friends just to this day. Flo Kennedy, amazing rapper, check her out. Like one of the best rappers I personally ever met. My other friend Lazy Nell, another talented rapper, check him out. We're good friends to this day. Through working at Urban Outfitters.
Urban Outfitters.
Yeah. But I'm still making music, and my creative network is whatever. After I think when 2016 hit, I was just like, making music is not really for me. Like I love music, and I love hearing music, and I love entertaining people, but I didn't feel like me being on the stage performing the music was me. I don't really like being the center of attention kind of thing.
But you were a greeter at 21, no?
Yeah, but that's different than like being on stage performing for people.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I didn't really like the feeling of performing and stuff like that.
That kind of discouraged you from
It didn't discourage me. I was just like I realized it wasn't for me. Like I tried it and it wasn't for me. Even though it was going for me though. It was going for me.
Yeah, but you in yourself, you already know.
I knew it wasn't for me in my heart. So then at that same point in time, that's when I started getting, I was always downloading music and collecting music and stuff. So at that same point in time was when I got back, and I would just come home and be bored and start DJing on the laptop, or I had a DJ app on the phone, and I would be stuck on it all the time. And then 2016, I said, you know what? I'm about to take DJing seriously. 2016.
Okay.
I said, I'm taking DJing professionally seriously.
Was it something that happened while you?
Nah,
You said this is what I feel like this is time now.
Yeah, I felt like it was time. Like I felt like I was just hooked on it all the time. I would be on my phone DJing all the time on the DJ app. I would come home and start DJing. I was always making mixes and burning them to a CD, and then I would take the mixes, burn on the CD, and play them in the house, play them at family parties and stuff, and people would like it. They're like, "Oh wow, this is good." So like, it kept going. 2016, I remember I said I was gonna start DJing full time. I remember when I told people that. Some people were like, "You're an artist. Why are you gonna DJ? Like you always trying to do something else. You always trying to do too much." And I'm like, "All right." I didn't listen to them. So one thing I would say in life is definitely when something's in your heart, just follow it. Don't listen to people, because people will try to put their opinions and stuff on you. But a lot of people think very small-minded.
They put the insecurities on you.
They put the insecurities on you, but people just think small-minded. They can't help it. So it's like when God puts something in your heart, it's there for a reason. And I always say God is not going to put something in your heart or give you a task or a mission that he's not going to equip you to do. So definitely just go with it and be a vessel. And I live by that. So
in 2016 started doing DJing.
Yeah, but I was getting booked like a tiny bit, not really. And I remember I played back the mix. I'll send it to you after this. But there was I would play back. I play back the mixes I did then. Now my song selection was amazing.
Really?
But my mix was fucking terrible.
Transition wise?
Yeah, it was fucking terrible.
Because the fundamentals you didn't lock.
Like I still like, yeah, my uncles were teaching it to me, but I still didn't like fully grasp it yet. So I think I started perfecting that and getting better at it. But I think by like 2018, I was really like, I was already nice. And I remember in between that time, I would just come home every day. When I come home, I'd be on my laptop every day when I come home, like just on my laptop, just practicing DJing. I would fall asleep with my controller in my hand, like stuff like that. Like it was that serious to me. And
so at that point, it wasn't a hobby no more.
Nah, it wasn't a hobby. It was like this is my everything.
Okay.
So 2018 was the year when I started to feel stuck, because I was just like, yo, I really want to DJ. I'm not really getting booked like that. I started getting little small opportunities here and there. I would go into parties and like shell the party down, and I'd be on the lineup with like other big DJs, but like nobody would really like want to work with me like that. Nobody, and I was like because I didn't have a name back then.
You felt, how do you feel within yourself?
It was very discouraging because I knew I was talented.
But then you feel like
I would go into the party and literally shell the party down, but because I didn't have a name, it was just like, oh, nobody cares. So I remember I said to myself, I was like, yo, like, if it don't work out by the end of this year, I'm just going to quit DJing. And I remember my friend was like, bro, don't quit. Like, what are you talking about? You're good. And I was like, yeah, but it's not working. I got to do. It was 2018. I remember I put a mix out. I had an idea for a mix. And this is where my story changed. I had an idea for a mix. And I remember I went to Panama in 2017. And I wrote in my notes in my grandfather's room a bunch of ideas I had for mixes and parties. And then when I came back, when the new year came in or whatever.
But were you throwing parties at the time?
No, okay. I was just trying to figure shit out. Okay. 2016 to 2018 is me just trying to figure shit out. I wasn't doing anything yet. So 2018, I remember I made a mix called Cuffin' Season. It was an idea I had of a mix of like just like love songs and stuff from any era, but it was mostly 2000s music, but it was any era. But drunk?
No, stop, bro.
But besides just doing the mix, I'm always a person that like if I'm doing something, I'm gonna package it and promote it correctly because everybody's trying to do something. So you have to want to stand out, and you have to, so that comes into marketing. So I'm like, if I'm putting my thoughts and energy into something and I know it's hot, I'm gonna make sure y'all see it and make sure y'all want to check it out. So I made sure I marketed it correctly. I did a whole photo shoot for the mix with my good friend Wendy and Gala and my other friend M. Hetty. And we do DJs? Nah. Wendy's a photographer and M. Hetty's just M. Hetty. She's a model. But we did a really good photo shoot for it, and the photos hit hard online. And that's when I started taking my image seriously and like how I present myself online. And I put the mix out. I remember when I put the mix, I was teasing like snippets of songs that would be in the mix before, and then I put the mix out. And at first, like people was like, "Oh, it's cool," but then I think a week and a half or 2 weeks in, more and more people started talking about checking out the mix, and then they was talking about it and posting it, and then I hate to say it, but people are followers like monkey see monkey do. People started seeing other people posting it, and they're like, "Oh, let me check it out." And then and after a while, it was all I was seeing on my timeline, my mix. Really? I was like, "Oh shit!" Nice. And then I just started making more mixes and doing photo shoots behind them.
I feel it was so good, right?
Yeah, it felt good. So then I still wasn't getting booked like that, but it was picking up slowly. And this guy owned this clothing store, and I kept telling him like, "Yo, I have an idea for this party that I want to do, and I know it's gonna work. I just need you to get me the venue, so I could do it." He was doing parties at the Vinyl. That was a venue in like the Village Soho area. And I was like, "Yeah, just get me the venue, and I'll do the rest." And he wasn't taking me serious at first. So when the new year came, I remember I was sitting on the bus one day coming home, and I was like, "Yo, for this new year, 2019, any idea I have, I'm gonna just do it. I'm not gonna I'm just gonna go for it and do it." So I hit him. I told him like, "Yo, Happy New Year! Like, I really want to do this idea." Like, he's like, "Bet." He got me the venue. I started teasing like little things I had a BB belt at the time, and I put on like a pink jacket. I remember in this video, and I had the BB belt. No, it was a name belt that I ordered with the electric name belt. Yeah, I had the electric name belt with a do-rag and like a Von Dutch shirt and everything, the headband, 2000s looking out. I was rapping Hey Ma by Cameron, and I put it up because the party was supposed to be a 2000s attire party, Cuffin' Season, and I put it up and it went viral, like online, yeah. Not viral, but like it hit, like, you know what I mean? And then everything I just started posting snippets of the party and stuff, or like aesthetic of the party and the stuff, it was just hitting. I did the party, that was my first party I did by myself, and it sold out completely, like. Yeah, the party. People didn't think I was gonna do it, and that shit was sold out.
Did you do it yourself?
I knew it was gonna be that because I just saw the reaction of everything online beforehand. I didn't sell tickets for it pre-sale, but I knew it was gonna be that because I just saw it. I just saw the hype around the party.
Okay.
And I had the right lineup. Like I put the right lineup together. I was very careful. I'm always careful about anything I do, anything I put out. I'm very like detailed with anything I do.
So you were friends with DJs at that time?
Some people I wasn't friends with, but a lot of them like they just saw how hard I was going for what I was doing and like the work I was putting in. Like we did a lot of promo videos, photo shoots, and stuff. And one thing I would say to people is that like God helps you or makes things happen for you when you're trying to help yourself. People help you when they see you're doing what you can to help yourself. Some people have this thing like they just laying around expecting people to help them. It doesn't work like that. When people say you're trying to help yourself, people will definitely team in and want to help you. People want to be a part of something that's moving, not just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I did that, and it went, and then I said, you know what? Let me take this same theme of the 2000s idea and flip it into a Caribbean, into my culture. So I took the 2000s theme party that I did and I flipped it into the Caribbean version, which then birthed Tings. And we did Tings, and Tings was even a harder hit than the first party I did.
What did you do with things that you didn't do with the first party?
I did the same formula, I would say, honestly. Like, I posted a lot of like throwback videos, music videos from the time period, and I posted you know, the aesthetic of the attire. I posted I did a promo mix. That was the one difference. That was the same thing. I did a promo mix. I did photo shoots. We did videos. We recreated the Girl M Sugar video by.
You did it?
We recreated.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
By Andre Uncut. We recreated the music video to it, and everything was just hitting the promotion, like, so, you know, and it went, and it worked. The party, the venue. I remember we had 300 wristbands, and in the first hour of the party, so I think we started the party at 9. The first hour of the party, by 10 o'clock, my cousin was like, yo, we need more wristbands. I'm like, what do you mean? I gave 300. She's like, yeah, we don't have any more. It was packed out like that. Like, before the party even started, there was a line outside for the party. People were like, is this where the Tings party's gonna be?
Where was the party?
It was a spot called Mr. Wu's basement in like Chinatown.
Oh, it's the city.
It was in the
So you
city.
started off in the city?
Yeah, I started my first 2 parties were in the city.
Okay.
And that was a harder hit. And then after that is when I started getting booked, because people saw what I could do. So I could DJ and I could bring people out and how to promote and market and package myself. So that's when I started to get booked. I did another party that I started at that time. I called it Jerk and Jollof. I didn't realize at that time there was another party called Jerk and Jollof. Shout out to, yeah, remember my DJ Jerk and Jollof? Yeah. I didn't know there was another party called Jerk and Jollof.
That was going way back also?
2019, yeah. They started the same time as me. Shout out to Asante. Jerk and Jollof blew up, huge party. I DJed for them a couple of times, and I loved their event. And I did that party. It hit hard too. And then I brought Tings back. I remember that summer I did it at in a backyard, and that was like at that point that was the biggest crowd I ever attracted for a party. It was like 500 people in a party.
Was the one
in Eon's backyard?
Eon's backyard.
Yeah, but I don't know if you were there for that one. It was on July 4th, 2019.
Kareem had brought me to one before.
Oh, he did? Yeah, that shit was crazy.
People was outside.
Yeah.
That shit was like a black party.
Yeah. The whole block, like, it was crazy. My uncle was doing a jerk chicken in the backyard, roast corn.
Yeah.
It was cutting up coconuts and sugar cane. It was just an experience that I
it
brought
was
to the
vibes.
party.
MCs was good. The DJ was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, from there, like, I kept doing it. But then COVID hit the next year. And that slowed everything down for a bit.
Okay. So when COVID hit, you feel like that was a major setback for you, or you know, normally people like get bigger in COVID because quarantine and all that stuff. But you feel like things like it took a step back in a sense.
So during COVID, I was doing other things. Like, I remember I did a big mix for Fader magazine at the time. I was doing other things to keep my name alive and keep pivoting and elevating myself. I went to Jamaica for a year.
A year?
I went to Jamaica for a year. Ended up being in Jamaica for a year.
What made you do that?
I went at first just to go in the summer. I stayed with my friend, and I was like, and when I came back, I was like, the fuck am I? Like, I was like, fuck, what am I coming back? Because like my job was remote, so I was like, the fuck am I coming back to New York for? Like, I might as well just stay in Jamaica. So
Work remote, right?
yeah, and I went back to Jamaica.
Live the family.
I stayed with my family for a month. The rest of the time I was just there.
Like you rented a spot.
I rented a spot in Constant Spring. My friend, she had a property that her family owned, and she rented me the spot, and I was there for.
Oh, so you're living on your own in Jamaica?
I was living on my own in Jamaica.
That's a true testimony right there. Like
I was living on my own in Jamaica, and I had a time.
what was your best moment in living in Jamaica at that time? That was COVID, you said, right?
COVID time.
What
Yeah, that was.
COVID?
So the only thing was that like there was a curfew. So like 9, I think it was like 9 or 10 o'clock. I think it was 9. Everything you had to be inside.
Well, you still on the other side, no, right? You still went out.
Yeah, but like I couldn't like. It wasn't like I could go party at like the lot or stuff like, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't like bra if I wanted to, but I still I had a time. Like it's just so much stuff that I was doing, like chilling with family or friends, like going to the river, get up and just go to the beach.
Was that more so relaxing and trying to find yourself?
Yeah, and honestly speaking, like because I had a lot of time out, but I also had a lot of alone time because I was staying by myself. I would really have a lot of time to just meditate and reflect. And I think I really had a spiritual awakening when I was there. Like,
really?
So yeah, I got way more in tune with myself spiritually there. Like, well, sorry mom, but I bun weed. So, and
I didn't know you were bun weed. I didn't. When I saw you did it, I was like,
I mean, for the record, I don't smoke heavy, but when I was in Jamaica then though, I was. Yeah, I was whole. But in that time, when I was in that apartment in Jamaica, I was smoking regularly, like every day, like all day, every day. I was smoking, but like now I don't do that. But yeah, it was a really transformative moment for me spiritually. Like I was really into like just a lot of spiritual topics. I would watch a lot of informative things, read, research, have a lot of those type of conversations, a lot of alone time to myself, a lot of prayer, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of trying to, better myself happened in that time period. And
so were you DJing at that point? Like,
yeah, I was already throwing parties. Yeah, but there was nowhere for me to DJ because everything was shut down. I did DJ. I actually did DJ though. I can't remember the name of this place for the life of me.
Uptown?
Yeah, it's like across from
like Django's or
no, not Jenga's. It's across from that really big supermarket. Not Fontana, the Sovereign. It's across from Sovereign. Okay. It's like next to a Pizza Hut or something like that. I did DJ there.
Okay. Was it like an event, a small event?
It was like some corporate event for some weed brand, something like that, and I DJ'd.
Was it because you were buying so much weed from them or something?
No. My friend Stammer, he put me on the event and I DJ'd.
Oh, nice.
That was the first time I DJ'd in Jamaica.
How was that feel?
It was cool. When I DJ'd, nobody was really there. I just remember I got a big money pull up because I played a Sam Smith song. I played like. I think I played.
It was big at that point. It just came out.
You know, Jamaican people love souls and all that. I think I played. I know you're not the only one. Yeah, nigga gave me. It was some big ass nigga, and he's like, "Yo, DJ, pull that up." Bam! Slam the money down. Nigga was feeling it. Somebody broke his heart.
Damn.
But
what else to that nigga?
Shout outs to him. Yeah, but I also learned a lot of music that people wouldn't expect me to learn in Jamaica when I was there. I learned a lot of R&B music in Jamaica. Like I wasn't really learning the dance, like a lot of the dancehall reggae stuff I was already familiar with, but I learned a lot of R&B music and like souls in Jamaica. So like, and it's funny because like some of my friends now when I talk about R&B, it's like, what you know about R&B? And I'm like, nigga, you understand how Caribbean people love R&B, specifically Jamaican people? Like, are you crazy?
I could attest on that because every party, that's the warm up.
Yeah,
every party.
Yeah, so like, are you crazy? And then they play deep cuts. Like I'm like,
yeah, deep.
I fell in love with Tony Braxton's music, specifically being in Jamaica. Yeah,
they're heavy on souls.
So, yeah, it was a great experience. I made a lot of friends when I was there for that year, and then I left Jamaica and went to Panama for a month. So I was not trying to come back to America.
So where was your mom, your dad?
They were home in New York.
They didn't like question you, like, bro, what are you doing with your life? Like
they like not just them, but people would just ask me like, oh, you need to come back home. Like for what? Like I'm working remote. Like I'm making my money.
Yes, it was working.
Yeah, I
So
was
it's
working. It wasn't like I
not
wasn't
you
working.
was
Yeah.
slacking off and all
Yeah, I
that.
was working remote. So it's like people would say, I'm like, why? I'm working remote. I'm just here. Like, what's the like, what's the problem? People couldn't answer that question. But that's because people just live in fear.
Yeah,
People just live in
you're
a
right.
fear and in a
You're
box.
right.
So you're doing
You're
something
right.
out the box, and it's just like
You're right.
it's just you're doing something outside the box. It's like, and they can't answer why you shouldn't do it. It's like, yeah, why shouldn't I do it?
Brave to do that, bro.
Yeah.
New York,
I mean, also it's not like I have family there. So
Well, yeah,
if some
yeah.
shit did happen, like my family's right there. Yeah.
That makes sense. So we in Panama and you were on the same like journey.
Yeah, when I went to Panama though, I wasn't living with I was staying at my grandfather's house. Anytime I go to Panama, I stay with my grandfather because my grandfather is there and my uncle's always at the house, and then my cousins live in the area. So it's like, and I was in Panama for a month. And then so being in Jamaica and Panama at that time, that's where I learned to cook.
Already? Yes, because you had a era in life where you used to sell like.
Yeah, so I came back to
Food.
New York. When I finally did come back to New York, I was selling food. I learned how to cook all that stuff being in Jamaica and Panama all that time.
Oh, wow. So your grandfather was a chef or?
Nah, but he's just a cook. And then like my grandmother, my sister, my mother, they all cook. So I would just call them and ask them, hey, how do you make banana fritters? How do you make ackee and saltfish? How do you make porridge? How do you make this? And how do you make rice and peas? They would just show me how to do everything. And then I would post it. People would be like, yo, I'll buy it from you. And that's how the food thing started.
So how was Panama at that point? Like compared to Jamaica, or just comparing the fact of like liberty out there?
There was the lockdown was stricter I think in Panama.
They would lock you up.
But I also think because they had COVID worse than Panama. I mean, than Jamaica. I think COVID was worse COVID was worse in Panama than Jamaica. Okay. But also because Panama is a central port area for the world because of the canal. Yeah, so like COVID was bad in Panama. So like there was days, like if you wanted to go to the supermarket, for example, it was specific days you could go. It goes by your last name. Like last names A to M. Excuse me. Last names A to M was certain days. And last names like N to Z was like certain days. Yeah, it was that strict like that.
So when did you come back to New York?
I had to at some point come back. Like
no, when did you come back?
Oh, I came back in the winter, like the ending of winter, beginning of spring. 2021. I came back to New York.
And then
but I also came back to New York because we had a big Tings event planned for that year, so I had to start getting everything off the ground. And I came back to New York, just really working on the Tings event. And that was another big transformative moment of my life because we put our all into the event. It was a lot of money. When I say a lot of money, like a lot of money went into that event. That was my first time doing a DIY event. That was my first time doing a full production event, like renting out a space and just bringing in everything yourself.
So DIY events are like it's like empty shells we use.
Empty space, and you bringing in the sound, the decor, the production, the screens, the lights, everything you're bringing in yourself. And that was my first time doing that. Business wise, I did make some mistakes business wise. And it was my first time doing it, but it's not an excuse, but I did make mistakes business-wise. But for the most part, a lot of things that happened with that event were just out of my control that went left.
So okay, that was the event. The second things.
No.
First.
But at this point, I already did Tings.
What was this event?
This was Tings, but it wasn't the first one. It was 1,
3.
No, Mr. Wu, the backyard. This was the 4th Tings event.
4 things.
Yeah. So but by this time, Tings is already like a notarized event. Like people would stop. I remember I went to like Toronto for Caravana, or like I would just be walking the street and people would stop me like, yo, you do that Tings event, right? Like people knew about Tings at this point. It was around, It was like, yeah. And a lot of people I even met in the past 2 years, they told me like, yo, I knew about you from 2019 when you was doing your Tings event. I'm like, wow. Like, so.
Yeah, that's a lot. So So you said you did the Tings event in the space, like business wise, you had like some little L's. Mm. What was the biggest L you had as it relates to the business aspect of things? What was that?
I went $24,000 in the hole.
20 what?
$24,000 in the hole. No cap. God is my witness.
You did ask?
I swear. I told you this before, no? I never told you that.
But that was the thing. Oh yeah. That was the. Oh
Yeah.
wow, damn.
24K in the hole. A lot of stuff happened out of my control that just. There was like, for example,
Bar.
stuff at the bar, but like, there were things that happened that was my fault, but because it was my first time doing an event like this, and I was much younger and like I didn't have any experience, and also nobody was there to really guide. Well, that's not true because people were telling me.
You got a team?
Yeah, people like I remember my close friend of the family. She was telling me about pricing certain things higher. So like for example, we were doing cabanas, and we sold the cabanas for $800, I think, or $900. But when you price up everything the cabana comes with, I should have at least charged $1,300-$1,400 for the cabana. We were building
close to production.
We were building the cabana from scratch, so the wood costs money first of all. Then you got to decor the cabanas, the furniture, the liquor that's going into cabanas from the consignment, the food, that all costs.
So you were too close to the production cost opposed to the
So
final cost.
what I was charging for the cabana was actually less than what it cost to make the cabanas. So I was already in the red. Yeah.
Nobody saw that?
No, like I said, a close friend of my family, she was telling me that beforehand, but like I wasn't really taking heed because it was my first time doing an event, and I wanted everything to just sell out, which it did. My events always sell out. I didn't think people would pay for that price, so you got to know your worth, and that's one thing I've learned in business, but I've learned that in life. You got to just know your worth. When you set your worth and you're bounded, people that understand it will pay for them. If they don't, then you don't need them. So the event sold out. But yeah, a lot of stuff went left. I went $24,000 in the hole. My name, God, bro. Like my name was being ran through the dirt. A lot of false stuff was being said about me, not just true things, but a lot of false stuff too. But I'm a person that no matter what happens in life, I'm not gonna like lay down and just give up and quit. Like whatever happens in life, like I might be down for a bit, but God is my witness. I'm gonna get up and get to it. And I've always been like that.
As you should.
And I just chipped away at it. Like, and the more I chipped away at it and put myself out there, things started happening. Like, I remember I went to Rogers Garden and I spoke to the owner. I told her, like, look, I'm a DJ. I want to play here. I know a lot of the people that come here. Like, and you know, she didn't know who I was. She probably like, yeah, whatever. But after a while, you know, she gave me a chance, and I started DJing there every week. Then I got connected to Reem, you know Reem?
Yeah.
And Reem was doing his Thursdays there, so then he liked how I played. He started booking me every Thursday for his event.
So what day was Roger Garden? On Monday?
Thursdays. I was there Thursdays for Reem's event.
And the regular night for Roger Garden was like Fridays or something?
I was just there on Thursdays.
Okay.
I was there on only Thursdays. So I was there every Thursday for Reem's event, and from there, that was like a spotlight on me. One, I was getting consistent money every week, and then the network of people that was there were people that were booking me in other spaces, and then my name started to go out more from there. So I would always, remember Garnett, Rogers Garden, Reem, and definitely.
So this is like fast forward from the whole.
This is a month after. This is like a month after $24,000 in the hole.
So you're trying to stack up back to pay off that.
I'm trying to pay off everything. So that happened. Then my friend Treese, he was doing parties at Shemansky, and he told me, he said, yo, I got you, don't worry about it. And he just booked me on every single event he did every week. And I'll never forget him for that. I don't even think he remembers that he did that, but he was booking me on every single event every week so I could just help pay that shit off. And people, when you're a good person and you're in a situation, people will come forward for you, you know what I mean? So it's always important to just be a good person, because nothing lasts forever. Everybody has ups and downs, so don't get too ahead of yourself. Always be humble and always keep your feet on the ground. Like, don't think you're too good for people. Don't treat, because I'm telling you, shit will hit the fan one day, and you will need people to call on. We all need each other. It takes a village, like they say.
So what kept you motivated? Like,
this
period.
What kept me motivated is that I just cannot lose. I feel like some people have that in them and some people don't, and that separates the people that really go far to me from the people that don't. Because I just got it in my head that like whenever something happens, and I'm kind of sick in the head. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna admit to this. I'm a little sick in the head. Like, I think what propels me really is when people start talking shit. When people start kind of like
Really? That makes it more.
When people start like running dirt on my name or saying things that's not true about me or doubting me, anything around that, that's when I like really go into this like zone where it's like.
That's not an ego thing, or this is.
I mean, part of it is probably ego, but a lot of it is just like I'm a determined person. If I want something, I'm gonna go get it. If I want a shoe, if I want it, whatever it is, if I want something, I'm going to go get it, and nothing is stopping me. And I've always just been like that. My mother told me from when I was a baby, I was learning to walk, and she said that like she would watch me. I'm trying to walk, and she said she would see like a toy across the room, and instead of me like figuring out how to walk around things, I would just barge through everything, and that can be bad. It can be bad.
Mm-hmm.
She said I would fall and get hurt, but she said nothing would stop me from going to get what I want, and I've just been like that. I've been like that, so.
So like so after you doing gigs at Shemansky and Rogers Garden, that gave you the opportunity to like save up. And
I was just getting consistent.
Stuff.
I was getting. It started with those two places, and the other people that would come into those places would book me for other stuff.
Okay, so you was constantly getting booked. Cause now you're household.
Right. So now I'm constantly getting booked, but people don't. It's like, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like God will literally put you in the darkest situations possible.
See how you come out of it.
To see how you come out of it, but a lot of times it's also to propel you to the next level.
Okay. Just your strength.
Not even yes, but it's also He's purposely making this happen to you to propel you to the next level. Okay. Like if that situation didn't happen, I wouldn't have put myself in positions to go to places where I'm getting booked all the time. And that by me getting booked all the time, that opened up my network, and then that put me in other bigger situations. So I was getting booked all the time at this point, and I'm paying people back. The money's coming together, and like and a lot of people came to me and was like, "Yo, there's like I respect you," because they said like a lot of people in a situation like this, they just make up some story. They don't try to like you actually kept your word and you paid us back. And I was like, yeah, like all I got and it's like is my word, and I take that very seriously. I'm a very of my word person. The only thing is I be late a lot, but other than that,
a lot.
All right, I know you're not talking.
No, but when was you supposed to come to the interview?
All right. Okay. But the only thing that I think is I'm late a lot. I'm trying to work on that. But
you trying to work on that, bro? You should work on it.
I'm working. We getting there.
Okay.
We getting there.
So you were late for this interview.
I was.
Yes, you were.
I was laying in my bed playing music last night. That's why.
We're not even gonna go there.
My heart heavy.
With who?
All right.
So to add to that, so NYC is like a really competitive, like creative industry. So working with other DJs, do you find like it was a lot of egos, a lot of competition? Yeah, I know. Yeah, you face it a lot, aren't you? You laughing right now. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of competition. It's just like any other.
You don't
business.
have to call names, bro.
No, I'm not gonna call nobody names.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not calling any. Yeah. But it's just like any other business. There's always gonna be a lot of competition, and I wouldn't even think of it necessarily as competition. Everybody's just trying to be seen. Everybody's trying to get that customer. You know what I mean? That client. So.
But is the talent speaks all though? You don't have to use image or use like.
I mean, to be honest,
both.
Even if you look at artists from like the 1940s and 50s, if you look at the cover of their album, they don't just come up frownsy and like their wife beater and like the marina and like, you know what I mean? Like, so image is important.
Putting yourself together.
Because there's 8 billion people on the planet. Like people are not gonna always just sit there and take the time to get to know you, check out what you're doing. So image is the first thing that they see. Yeah. And it's just like, I like to sit down and watch like stuff on TV about like animals in their habitats and stuff. I watch stuff like that a lot, and like animals are very image based. Like, and that's like it's like a survival mechanism.
Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean?
There's like animals where like it's just like it's part of their survival skills. Like the way they envision other animals or other creatures or other habitats. It's a survival thing, and it's the same thing with humans. Like it's a survival mechanism. Like. People talk about things like stereotypes and even though like stereotypes, people say it's bad, which I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's just how the brain is wired. Like these are all like survival mechanisms.
Okay, so back to what we were saying, like what is one of the challenges that you face being a DJ around other DJs?
No challenge.
There's
no challenge. I'm doing me.
Yeah, blocking out everything else, right?
Yeah.
I feel that, bro. All right, so networking in New York. Do you feel like networking in New York plays a big role in like your creative aspect or your creative journey? Like getting to know people a lot
Yeah.
and putting yourself into the rooms and spaces. And what do you say to the person that's like think that, oh, I'm a great DJ and I'm just gonna keep doing great stuff and putting it out there, but also you gotta put yourself around places and introduce yourself, shake hands, get out of this comfort zone. Do you feel like that's a good way to do it, or just stick to talent and just
Your network is your net worth. They say that in every business. That's the key to life. Your network is your net worth. Relationships and network, well, the same thing. Like, so it's all about who you know, man. Like, and that's any. It's not just DJing. That's anything, like any industry. You don't even have to be a creative. Like, it's literally like I've heard people say like they had a health issue, and like they didn't have no way of like getting something, but they knew somebody that worked in like a hospital, and you know what I mean. So it's just
started out.
it's always about who you know. So like one thing I saw somebody say, I listen to this podcast every morning called Modern Wisdom, and it's a lot of good gems they give on there and stuff for men. And one thing they talk about is like, yo, just always be open to small talk with people. You never know who you're gonna meet, especially in New York City. Just small talk with people. No matter if they're young, old, new, whatever. Like small talk. Like, and even if you don't get nothing from that, like develop the skill of being able to just speak with people without trying to get something from them. Just being able to speak with people, because we all have experiences. You never know who you're gonna meet.
Okay.
So
as we had an extensive talk about the creative aspect of it, let's go to the business aspect of things right now. Would you say you're now like at a point where, well, not master, but in a good space business wise? Cause I feel like a lot of creative in New York or in the industry in general, they don't really take the business aspect of it like seriously. So what would you say your point of view is as relates to the business aspect of your DJing career? Make sure you're getting paid on time. Make sure you're working for good people. Make sure your invoices are filled. Making sure you have a structure layout, like not just DJing.
So, because this is like thing, it's not like always fully stable in nightlife, right? So sometimes people will not pay you on time for whatever reason. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they really don't got it, or whatever. But so that does happen. But it's always good to just invoice everything you do. Keep a record of what you're making. I think for a long time, I'm gonna be open and honest about this. For a long time, I think and this is like something that a lot of us do in our community, really, as Black people of color, and especially when you're younger, especially if you're getting fast money, like where we get in this type of lifestyle. For a long time, I was just like living life, like fuck it, like I'm getting paid this day from DJ. There was a point, 2023, I was DJing from Sunday to Saturday. Sunday I was DJing in Queens at every Sunday in the summer at some restaurant at Cheers. Monday I was at Rogers Garden for the Compa party. Tuesday we had our event. Wednesday I was at Miss Lily's. Thursday I was at Kareem's party. Friday and Saturday is the weekend. So, and then I had other money coming in from other places, and I still have a job. So at that point,
day job.
A day job.
Okay.
So at that point, you can't tell me nothing what to do with my money. I'm rich. Like, and like, even if I spend money irresponsibly, I have money coming in from a gig almost every day. I'm getting a Zelle notification.
Now money come back later on.
Exactly.
Okay.
But as you mature and as I get older, and this is something I'm not even gonna act like I've always been like this. This is something I really developed in less than a year, like literally the last couple months. Part of maturity, and a big part of maturity, is learning to not live for the moment, but live for your future and plan for your future. And I started to realize that, I'm having a good time and I'm living a fun life, but I'm not really like doing anything to build myself up towards my future with what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? Like it's fun and it is a good time, but part of loving yourself and giving yourself that love is doing the things to treat yourself and plan ahead for your future. So I stopped just spending in the moment, and I started to plan with my money before it even comes to me. So now I have a plan where in the beginning of the month, the first week of the month, I pay every bill I have for that month. No matter what it is, I pay. I don't care if I go broke. I pay every bill I have for the month in that first week of the month. Once that's done, then I calculate how much money I have coming in from the month from my job. I calculate how much money I have coming in for the month from gigs. And once I calculate that number up, then I plan what I need to do for the month. I'm gonna do this and this with the month. This is how much I'm gonna save, and I plan how much I'm spending each week. And that
To have it on budget.
and I didn't know that was called budgeting. I was just doing it. But that has changed my financial life drastically. And what I would advise everybody, whether you're creative or not, is especially when you're in your late 20s and 30s, well, in any age you're at, period. But I'm specifically talking to people in their late 20s and 30s. Take your financial life seriously. Plan ahead for your future. Don't just live in the moment, because you're not going to be young forever. And you don't want to be in your 40s and 50s saying coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's the worst thing you could ever feel, is regret. So, and it's just something I just started to do and I just learned, you know what I mean, through trial and error and through experiences. So I'm not ashamed of the experiences that I've had, the mistakes that I've made. Like, you know, we all get to that point where we're supposed to get there. So I'm just glad to.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good take, because I feel like a lot of people don't really know that or take that aspect seriously. Because we see those people on Instagram and they live in this life and portraying this image, but deep down, there's nothing.
This is a lot of.
It's a facade.
It's a facade. We live in the capital of facades.
Yo, tell me about it.
We live in the capital of the United States of facades.
And you being around people, you really see this firsthand.
You will be around people and think they got it. And I've been there. I'm not exempt to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's part of the life and the business we live. I remember my friend said, we're in a business that sells fantasies. I will never forget that he said that.
He said that.
And I was like, yo, he's dead right. Like, so like a lot of us, it's like, I mean, part of it is part of the marketing and branding and everything. So I'm not saying it's not. Part of it is the marketing and branding, and that's how you sell yourself. You know what I mean? You get these opportunities and stuff. You gotta, but at the end of the day, I mean, like Trey always says, he said Trey like, so everybody's just playing like they're rich and not really rich. Like Trey always says that to me, like as a joke. And yeah, like I think once you get to a point in life where you don't have anything to prove, and you become more, just comfortable and accepting of yourself, that's really when you will cut out a lot of habits. A lot of the things that we spend our money on, a lot of things that we do, is really just to prove shit, to put on this image up front. So once you kind of let go of that like desire to try to prove something all the time to yourself or to other people, like, and you get out of that, you see your habits will change and what you like. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
It's best to live below your means. I'm not saying you can't have fun. Life is about balance, so you need to have fun. You need a release. You need to have fun, but your life cannot be all fun. Your life cannot be all sacrifice.
Okay.
It has to be a balance. But the problem is, a lot of us have the balance tipped heavy on one side. Yeah. So, my two biggest. I've stopped doing a bunch of parties and I just locked in on my two parties, which are Tings, which a lot of people know, and then I have another event that I started in 2022 called R&B Beats. With Tings, we are now in the process of rebranding it outside of just a party into a full-on brand. So we have a lot of stuff that we're working on this year that I'm excited for. I don't want to say too much and give it away, but we have a lot of things that we're doing outside of just the party space with the brand. And it's things that I'm really passionate about, things that I get to, show another side of me. And it's not really about showing another side of me. It's just about, doing things more from a place that can help. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for that.
So when is this R&B?
We got everything's happening this spring and this summer. Just know that.
Okay.
Spring and summer, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so we touched on multiple topics, talking about the history. How do you actually became a DJ? Well, nice, the journey in a sense, and the complications, setbacks. How you actually bounce back, stay motivated as a DJ, I know you're a DJ, bro, and it's really hard to balance like personal life, like.
So I think people make time for. At the end of the day, people make time. As cliche as it sounds, you make time for the things you want to make time for. So I mean, yeah, my life is busy because I do still have a day job. I DJ a lot. I have my family and stuff. But like, if you know, I really want to do something, I make the time for it, and I will. And I find the time for it.
Okay.
And I think it's important to be intentional about the people you choose to spend your time with in your life and make time for. So
Sacrifice.
just make sure that you're bonding or building with someone that is understanding of your lifestyle, and you at the same time are not being one-sided, and you understand how to meet their needs as well. Like I think the one thing I've learned, and I've really learned this recently, in just romantic relationships, people have this idea nowadays, I think a lot, where it's just like people, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but people do this thing where it's like they go into something looking for what they want for themselves, and then when they get what they want, they're going. Okay. The other thing is that people do is like, what people think you're supposed to do is like, okay, we'll meet each other in the middle and like compromise. And yeah, you should compromise, but the real thing to do is in a relationship is I'm serving you and meeting your needs and doing what I can to help you, and you're doing the same for me.
Okay.
So I think
all right, cool.
That's how it should be.
That's fair enough. All right, so last questions to wrap it up because we've been talking for a hot minute, but Roy, thank you, bro, for coming. I just want to say thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. But the last question we have, what would you tell the younger you or young DJs aspiring to be the next Khalil or the next big DJ in NYC? Not just NYC, but just in general in the world.
What I would tell the younger me is to be more patient. Be more patient. Don't prove anything to anybody. Validate yourself. And I would tell the younger me to be a little more considerate. Yeah, to the people around me that I love and love me. But I would tell, and also the main thing I'll tell myself is to think ahead. I think I'm really thinking ahead now. In this past year, I've learned to do that, but I could have, no. I mean, there's no regrets, but think ahead. What I would tell the younger DJs out there, or just any creative or any body, period, that's trying to do anything, plan, believe in yourself, don't waste time trying to make everything perfect, because that would slow up your process. Just, you know what I mean? Put yourself out there, take steps of action and learn as you go. I've learned a lot by just going sometimes, you know what I mean? I told you guys I went $24,000 in a hole, but I came out of it and it put me to another level in my career, actually.
Yeah, that's a really big move, bro.
Like
really.
After that, the year after that, when everybody ran my name through the dirt and I was 24,000 and whatever, the year after that, I got booked at Afro Nation in Puerto Rico. And I got booked in Ghana for Afrochella, 20,000 people on stage. Like, so just don't let nobody try to stop you. Like, fight, be a fighter. Don't lay down. Don't let this he say, don't let the little susu, ray, like, none of that. Just go for what you want in this life. Like, you will get discouraged sometimes. I be talking to you sometimes. I be feeling discouraged but at the end of the day, like, just don't fight. You gotta fight in this life. You gotta be a fighter. You gotta fight for what you want in this life. Fight for that shit. Like, don't give up. Fight.
Gotcha. All right, you heard him. Pull up to the corner.
Just don't fight at my parties.
He dropped some gems, and yeah, people, that was it. That's the show. But yeah, thank you for all that, bro, and thanks for pulling up. Yes, people, that's Creative Corner, and thank you again for watching, and see you next episode. Peace out.